Shalom, Yashala, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh. I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Yasharallah. Call Haloyim Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Harakah Kwadash, for blessing our elders with the spirit of truth, so that we may know. Shout out to the Akim and the Akwaf that's keeping the faith in the works. Y'all keep at it. It's your brother Abaya coming at you with more precepts. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 3. It says, "And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto him, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows." All these are the beginning of sorrows. Due to these pestilences, you have a nation against a nation and kingdom against kingdom. All right. And your local media outlet is not expressing fully of the environment of the world pertaining to these pestilences and the mandates attached to them. People turning up all over the world, man. All over the world. But if you only watch your local channel, man, you're not going to know this information. If the only side of the story you listen to is the side of your local media station, you lost, man. All right, so let's see what's going on around the world.
What's on your radar this morning? Well, we've been talking a lot here in the U.S. about vaccine mandates and hesitancy, but I want to show you what's been going on around the world that hasn't been getting any real coverage here in the States. In numerous countries, thousands upon thousands of people have been protesting vaccine mandates and passports. I want to show you some footage. Here in Italy, thousands of people have been protesting the country's green pass. The pass requires either proof of vaccination, a negative test within the past 48 hours, or proof of prior infection within the past 6 months. Now, this is for any and all international travel, indoor restaurants, theaters, and gyms. In early September, it was extended to long-distance train rides, buses and ferries, domestic flights, and parents entering schools. Now it's been extended to every single worker in the country of both private and public businesses. At times, the protesters have turned violent as they've stormed the headquarters of Italy's largest labor union. The protesters then headed towards the Prime Minister's office, where they were met with water cannons and tear gas. Nancy Pelosi actually happened to be in Rome visiting the country's leaders when chaos from the protests broke out, and the speaker and her husband actually had to be whisked from a church that they were visiting to safety. Even Jared Leto, who was in Rome for his band 30 Seconds to Mars, he says that he was accidentally tear gassed by the police. Now, these protests have been going on for weeks now, and Italy is showing no signs of letting up, despite the fact over 80% of the population is vaccinated. In Switzerland, people must show a COVID certificate, which grants a person access to indoor bars, restaurants, large gatherings, including weddings and train rides, and even checking into some hotels if they've been fully vaccinated. You can show a recent negative test, or you can show prior infection. For the past 6 weeks, thousands of Swiss citizens have taken to the streets to protest the mandates, while police have shot off water cannons and rubber bullets. Amsterdam has seen widespread protests, with people carrying signs that read, QR is going too far and unvaccinated lives matter. Reports say some protesters were even displaying faux gallows. The Netherlands has implemented a COVID pass that restricts Dutch citizens from entering restaurants, bars, and other select indoor spaces unless they show their pass. And the Dutch government was going to require the pass for even outdoor dining terraces, but the pushback over the past couple of months has caused them to scrap those plans. Israel sparked widespread protest after the country announced their third booster shot is required for their green pass to be valid. In order to be considered fully vaccinated and allowed into most indoor venues, Israelis must show proof of 3 shots or show proof of 2 doses within the past 6 months. Once 6 months have passed from the second dose, a person must get the third or their pass becomes inactivated.
Join Burton campers in helping the American Red Cross assist those affected by disasters. October is our...
Damn devil.
France has been seeing non-stop protests for some time now, even before COVID, when yellow vests took to the streets every weekend for months on end. Now the protests are over vaccine mandates, which require people to show a COVID passport to enter any restaurants, cafes, other indoor venues, and even ride public transportation. Luxembourg citizens protested their version of a COVID pass in what they called a marche blanche, where protesters were dressed in all white, carrying white balloons. The new mandate, which takes effect November 1st, excludes the ability to test negative using a low-cost at-home test. Instead, citizens will be required to show either proof of vaccination or get tested professionally at a facility. And the pass is necessary to enter any indoor venues, such as restaurants and bars. Thousands of Greek citizens have been taken to the streets for the past few months to protest the country's COVID passports and mandates. Some healthcare workers are required by law to be vaccinated, and Greek citizens who are fully vaccinated are issued freedom passports, which allow them unrestricted access to anywhere they want to go. The Minister of Health said the goal was to protect the vaccinated, but also to protect the unvaccinated, who are much more at risk. Romanians have also been protesting against COVID passports. Thousands of people took to the streets in a massive display with signs that read, "Freedom without certificates." Slovenians were met with water cannons during their protests. Thousands of people are angry over their country's vaccine passports to enjoy a normal life. And Australia is a whole other story. I could do an entire segment on just what's been happening there. But the long and short of it in regards to protests is people are not only targeted with water cannons and rubber bullets, but their police are actually beating them with batons, and they're being met with other violence. It's quite insane what's going on in Australia right now. But here in the United States, leave it to the New Yorkers to express their outrage. The city implemented a strict digital COVID passport system for those fully vaccinated and for those who have tested negative. Unlike the countries in Europe, New York City will not accept proof of previous infection. People need to show the digital pass in order to enjoy the, quote, spoils of the city, as Mayor Bill de Blasio put it. Essentially, if you want to enjoy any entertainment or dining in the city, you need to show the pass. So it's really interesting, all of these protests that have been going on around the world. We haven't really seen these in the news much, but I mean, they are massive. We are talking in some countries, hundreds of thousands of people marching in the streets to protest either the mandates or the passports of some kind. So I mean, it's just been an overwhelming showing. And it's interesting how here in the U.S. we're really only seeing a massive showing in New York City. We've seen smaller protests, like Olympia, Washington had a little protest. Even here in Los Angeles, there's maybe one little one outside of the mayor's house. But for the most part, the U.S. hasn't seen these huge uprisings like what's been going on in Europe, besides New York City. I mean, why do you think that is? I mean, because, Americans are known for being freedom-loving, and a lot of people want to say...
The reason why is because they don't know. The people in the Daughter of Babylon are totally blind to facts, man. They believe everything a politician got to say about something. They believe everything a so-called doctor got to say about something. Right? As long as they fit a certain characteristic, meaning they look a certain way, they believe everything that person's saying. Everything. They don't check history in the place. In fact, some people remember certain instances of history, but they leave it at that. They leave it at history and refuse to believe that same mindset exists today. So the people of the Daughter of Babylon are some of the most foolish people on the planet, and the rest of the earth know it. I heard a quote from I believe it was Russian President Putin. This was years ago. A dude said American people are some of the dumbest people on the planet because they don't know any truths. The only form of information that they receive is one-sided, and they never ask questions about the other side of the story, right? And it's all because of the media. right? All of these different companies that run this place. But I digress, man. Chaos will ensue. Protests have been going on for years now. First, it started off with the so-called Black Lives Matter. Then, graduated to the thing, all right, and telling people to stay inside. Then graduated to the thing with the juice, and telling people that they can't participate in society without partaking in the juice. All right, but this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 1. It says, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, uproars of the people in the world, not just one area, not just two, but in the world itself. It says, Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Right? And that's what we seeing. We seeing this place is just going down and down and down and down. It's getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And all praise to the Most High Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Harakah Kudash for it. Because according to 2nd Ezra 6:9, Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So if we seeing signs of the end of the world, that means that our kingdom, you so-called blacks, you so-called Hispanics, and you so-called Native Americans, and all our brethren around the world, right? That means we up next. And we can see our kingdom being built up before our eyes. Each one of us that has been blessed with this knowledge and stand on this knowledge and hold it down in the midst of this wicked world, you are the kingdom. And we being built up. All right. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 12, and verse 25. It says, And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And these devils are dividing their kingdom on purpose. It's because they are planning on doing away with this world and moving on into their new world. And they really think that it's possible. They really do believe that it's possible. Right? But how much madness can one person have to think that they can go up against the will of the Most High and be victorious? Right? Matthew chapter 12 and verse 26, it says, And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? It cannot. Which means this kingdom that we're involved in is falling. Right? And call Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Harakah Kudash for that. So Yahweh Ratazah, meaning Yahweh willing, Abad Babal, meaning destruction to Babylon. Right? Most High willing, these precepts in this video are edifying. Call Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Harakah Kudash. Shalom Yashalom.
It's all these right-wing, far-right people, but where are they in